In ancient China, during the Song dynasty, there was a type of place called a washe. Simply put, it was the entertainment district of its time, something like a commercial street today, filled with storytellers, performers, and acrobats. Every evening, crowds would begin to gather. Vendors selling food, people drinking tea, parents bringing their children to see what was going on. The storyteller walked onto the stage, picked up his wooden block, and struck it. The whole room fell silent. Then, a story began. When the hero appeared in the story, the crowd would lean forward without even thinking. When the villain finally got what he deserved, some people slapped the table. Others cheered out loud. Some people even knew they were supposed to applaud before the story was over. And here's something interesting. These people came from different places, each carrying their own worries. But in that moment, their emotions were all pointing in the same direction. They thought they were watching a story. But a more accurate way to put it is, their emotions had been carried away. This is something the ancient Chinese noticed a very long time ago. Once people gather together, emotions stop being individual. They spread, they build on each other, and they start moving in the same direction. In the Han Dynasty, there was jiaodi, a large-scale wrestling performance where crowds would erupt in cheers, all at the same moment. In the Tang Dynasty, there was polo, emperor and officials competing on the same field, watched by thousands. And in the Song Dynasty, there were the washe, storytelling, acrobatics, and football. Every day, always full of people. The forms were different, but they all did the same thing. They brought scattered people together at the same moment, focused on the same thing. And in that moment, their emotions merged into one. But if you look deeper, you'll find something quite interesting. The ones who pushed hardest for these forms of entertainment were often not the ordinary people, but the government itself. In the early Han Dynasty, the country had just come out of years of war, and the people's hearts were unsettled. So what did the government do? They promoted jiaodi performances on a massive scale. The Song Dynasty washe were the same. The harder life got, the more crowded they became. Why? Because the rulers understood one thing. Rather than letting emotions build up, it was better to give them somewhere to go. But here's where it gets interesting. And this is the most important part. They thought they were managing entertainment. But what they were actually managing was the emotional rhythm of the crowd. The washe could exist, but what could be told and what couldn't had invisible limits. Allow people to gather, but control the direction. Allow emotions to be released, but guide where they go. Because they knew very well, the same crowd, the same gathering, if emotions moved in the wrong direction, could become something entirely different. So entertainment was both a safety valve and the thing they were most cautious about. This tension ran through the whole of ancient Chinese history. Now, let's fast forward to today. The 2026 World Cup, a crucial match. The ball hasn't gone in yet, but in that one moment, millions of people around the world held their breath at the same time. Nobody told them to feel tense. It was the rhythm, the image on the screen, that 1 second of silence, that pulled everyone's emotions in the same direction. You're not even there in person. Maybe you're sitting alone in your own room, but in that moment, your emotional rhythm is in sync with hundreds of millions of people. Honestly, this is the same thing that happened in the Song Dynasty washe. Except the washe was on one street, and today's venue is the entire planet. At this point, I want to ask you something. When I described the storyteller striking his wooden block and the whole room falling silent, did you pause just for a second? You probably didn't even notice. But that pause wasn't something you decided to do. The rhythm got there first. So you see, the washe never really disappeared. It just changed form from one street to a screen that covers the whole world. But what hasn't changed is this. The emotions of a crowd always need to be organized. They need a center, a rhythm, a direction. The rulers of the Song dynasty understood this, which is why they promoted the washe and also kept it under control. Today's World Cup does exactly the same thing, just at a scale 1,000 times larger. The real question has never been whether to allow entertainment. It's this. Once the emotions of a crowd have been organized, where do they go?